My name is Walter, but everyone calls me Grandpa Walt. I'm 71 years old, and there was a time when my family believed I couldn't hear them anymore. It started small. Missed calls. A TV turned up louder than usual. A few jokes about my ears not working like they used to. I didn't correct them. And that's when everything changed. They stopped lowering their voices. They stopped waiting for me to leave the room. They started speaking around me instead of to me. About money, about timing, about what would happen after. At first, I thought I was imagining it. But then I realized something far more unsettling. They weren't being careless. They were being honest. I sat there quietly, nodding when expected, smiling when necessary, while listening to conversations I was never meant to hear. Plans were being made. Decisions were already settled. And my name was mentioned in ways that made it clear I wasn't part of them anymore. In that moment, I understood something painful. They thought my hearing was fading. What they didn't realize was that I heard every word. I'm going to tell you what they said when they thought I couldn't hear them, why those conversations explained months of strange behavior, and how staying silent gave me the clarity they never expected. But before I continue, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from today? To everyone who keeps listening and supporting this channel, thank you. Your presence reminds me that being overlooked doesn't mean being powerless. And if this is your first time here, take a moment to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You're not just listening to stories. You're standing with people who were underestimated and paid attention. Now, let me tell you what I overheard and why it changed everything. It started 3 months ago on a Sunday afternoon. My daughter Luna and her husband Louis came over for dinner like they do most weekends. Nothing unusual. Pot roast, mashed potatoes. The kind of meal my late wife Margaret used to make before she passed 2 years ago. After dinner, I excused myself to use the bathroom. When I came back, I heard them in the kitchen, voices low but not quite whispered. I stopped in the hallway. Luna. We need to talk to Aaron about this soon. Louis. He already knows. I called him yesterday. And what did he say? He's on board. We just need to make sure the timing's right. I stepped into the kitchen doorway. They both turned, startled. Dad! Luna's voice went bright. Too bright. You okay? Fine, I said. What are you two talking about? Oh, nothing important. She waved her hand dismissively. Just boring house stuff. Louis nodded, suddenly very interested in loading the dishwasher. I didn't push it, but something about the way they looked at each other stayed with me. The following week, I missed 3 phone calls. I didn't think much of it at first. My hearing aid batteries were acting up, making that crackling sound they do when they're dying. I'd been meaning to replace them, but kept forgetting. When Luna called later that evening, she asked if I'd gotten her messages. No, sweetheart. Phone must not have rung. There was a pause. Dad, are you having trouble hearing it ring? Maybe. These batteries are on their last legs. Another pause. Longer this time. Okay, well, just wanted to check on you. I'm fine, Luna. I'm always fine. But after we hung up, I sat there staring at the phone. Something in her tone had shifted, like she'd just confirmed something she'd been wondering about. 2 days later, my son Aaron stopped by unannounced. Aaron lives 20 minutes away with his wife Wendy and their 2 kids. He doesn't usually drop by without calling first, so I was surprised to see him on my porch. Hey, Pop. He hugged me. Just wanted to check in. Check in on what? You know, see how you're doing. I invited him inside. We sat in the living room, me in my recliner by the window, him on the couch. He asked about my health, my medications, whether I'd been to the doctor recently. I'm fine, Aaron, same as always. Luna mentioned you've been missing calls. There it was. Battery issue, I said. Already ordered new ones. He nodded slowly. You know, Pop, if you're having trouble hearing, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Lots of people... I'm not having trouble hearing. Okay, Okay. He raised his hands. I'm just saying, if you were, we'd want to help. After he left, I sat in that recliner for a long time. We'd want to help. Why did that sound less like concern and more like a plan? That weekend, Luna organized a family gathering. Just a casual get-together, she said when she called. Nothing fancy. Aaron and Wendy are coming. Thought it'd be nice. Everyone arrived around 2 o'clock. Luna brought a casserole. Wendy brought salad. Aaron brought beer. We ate. We talked. The conversation was pleasant, surface level, but I noticed things. The way Luna kept glancing at Aaron. The way Louis excused himself to take a call and Aaron followed him outside. The way Wendy asked me, twice, if I'd heard what she'd just said, even though I'd answered her the first time. After dinner, I said I was tired. Think I'll go lie down for a bit. Of course, Dad, Luna said. You rest. I went upstairs to my bedroom, but I didn't lie down. I sat at the top of the stairs, and I listened. It took about 5 minutes before the conversation started. Luna's voice, quieter now but still audible. Did you see how many times he asked us to repeat things? Aaron. He turned the TV up 3 times during the game last week. Wendy. My grandmother was the same way. She didn't want to admit she couldn't hear. Louis. We need to talk about next steps. Next steps? My chest tightened. Luna. I know, it's hard. He's so stubborn. Aaron. The longer we wait, the harder it gets. You know that. I know. There was a pause, the sound of someone pouring coffee. Then Louis. Sylvester said we should start documenting things. Missed appointments, confusion, anything that shows he might need help. Sylvester. Louis's friend from college, a lawyer. Aaron. You already talked to a lawyer? Louis. Just informally. Wanted to know our options. And there are ways to handle this, legally, for his own good. I sat there, hand gripping the banister, barely breathing. Luna. I don't want to take anything away from him. I just want him safe. Aaron. We all do, but that house is too much for him. The stairs, the yard. What if he falls? Wendy. There are nice facilities, places where he'd have people around. Wouldn't be lonely. Luna. He'd hate it. Louis. At first, maybe, but he'd adjust. Aaron. And financially, it makes sense. The house is worth what, $850? Maybe more in this market. Luna. Aaron. I'm just being practical, Luna. We split it 3 ways. It's enough to cover the facility and still have some left over. 3 ways? Not 4. They weren't planning to include Cynthia, my youngest daughter who lives in Arizona. Luna sighed. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We don't even know if he'd agree to sell. Louis. That's why we're documenting. If it comes to it, power of attorney solves that problem. My hands started shaking. Aaron. When are you seeing Sylvester again? Louis. Next week. He's drafting some paperwork, just in case. I stayed at the top of those stairs for another 20 minutes. They talked about timing, about how to approach me, about which facility had the best reviews, about my house, my money, my future, as if I wasn't even part of the conversation. When they finally started gathering their things to leave, I went to my bedroom, sat on the edge of the bed, heard them call up, Dad, we're heading out. Okay, I called back, keeping my voice weak, tired. Thanks for coming. Luna came upstairs, poked her head in. You okay? I nodded. Just need some rest. She kissed my forehead. Love you, Dad. Love you too, sweetheart. She left. I waited until I heard all the cars pull away. Then I went to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror. At some point in the last few months, I'd become invisible to them. Not gone. Just not quite there anymore. A problem to be managed. An asset to be liquidated. I opened the medicine cabinet, pulled out my hearing aid case. The batteries weren't dead. They'd been working fine for 3 days, ever since I'd replaced them, but I hadn't told anyone. And now I was glad I didn't, because I'd just heard every word they'd said, every plan, every calculation, every justification. I closed the cabinet and looked at myself again. They thought I was fading. They thought I couldn't hear. But I heard everything, and I was going to make damn sure they knew it. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat in my study with a legal pad and started writing down everything I'd heard. Louis. Sylvester said we should start documenting things. Aaron. The house is worth what? $850? Luna. There are nice facilities. Every word, every implication. By the time the sun came up, I had 3 pages filled, and a plan forming in my mind. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done in months. I went to the audiologist. Not because I needed to, my hearing was fine, but I needed documentation. Proof that I was sharp, capable, fully aware. Dr. Chen ran all the tests: hearing threshold, speech recognition, tympanometry. When she finished, she smiled. Mr. Harrison, your hearing is actually excellent for someone your age. The aids are doing their job perfectly. So, there's no decline? None that I can see. Why? Are you having trouble? No, I said carefully, but my family seems to think I am. She frowned. Well, I can provide documentation of today's results, if that would help. That would be very helpful. Thank you. I left with a sealed envelope containing my test results and a letter from Dr. Chen on official letterhead. Patient exhibits no significant hearing loss. Cognitive function and auditory processing well within normal range. I put it in my safe at home. Step 1. Complete. That afternoon, Luna called. Hey, Dad, just checking in. How are you feeling? I kept my voice slightly louder than necessary. Played the part. I'm good, sweetheart. Just watching some TV. Is it loud enough? Can you hear it okay? What? The TV. Can you... Oh, yeah, it's fine. I heard her exhale, like she'd just had something confirmed. Okay, good. Listen, I was thinking maybe I should come by this week. Help you with some bills? I know you've been forgetting. Forgetting what? Your bills, Dad. Didn't you miss the electric payment last month? I hadn't. I'd paid it on time like I always do. But I played along. Did I? Yeah, they sent a late notice. Don't worry, I took care of it. My jaw tightened. She'd intercepted my mail. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Of course. That's what I'm here for. So I'll come by Wednesday, okay? We can go through everything together. Sure, that sounds good. After we hung up, I checked my bank account online. The electric bill had been paid. On time. By me. There was no late notice because there was no late payment. She'd lied. Wednesday came. Luna showed up at 10 in the morning with her laptop and a file folder. Okay, Dad, let's get organized. She spread papers across the kitchen table. Bills, statements, documents I'd never seen before. I've been looking at your accounts, she said, not quite meeting my eyes, and I think it might be easier if we set up automatic payments. That way, you don't have to worry about forgetting. I don't forget, Luna. Well, the electric bill was paid on time. I checked. She blinked. Oh, maybe I was looking at the wrong month. Maybe. She shifted in her seat. Either way, automatic payments would help. And actually, Louis and I were thinking, it might make sense for me to have access to your accounts, just to keep an eye on things. There it was. Why would you need access? Not full access, just, view only. So if something comes up, I can help. I let the silence hang for a moment. Then I said, let me think about it. Her smile tightened. Of course. No rush. But I could see the frustration in her eyes. After she left, I called my bank. I put alerts on every account, changed my passwords, made it so any attempt to add a user would require in-person verification with 2 forms of ID. Step 2, complete. That weekend, Aaron stopped by again, this time with Wendy and the kids, Bright, my 10-year-old granddaughter, and her little brother. "Thought we'd take you to lunch, Pop," Aaron said. We went to a diner downtown, sat in a booth. The kids colored on their menus. Halfway through the meal, Aaron casually mentioned, "You know, Pop, Wendy and I were talking. If you ever need help around the house, yard work, repairs, whatever, just let us know." "I'm managing fine." I know, but that house is a lot to maintain. And those stairs," Wendy chimed in. "My aunt had a 2-story. After she turned 70, it just became too much. She moved into a ground-floor condo and it was so much easier." I looked at Bright, who was focused on coloring a dragon purple. "I like my house," I said. Aaron exchanged a glance with Wendy. "Of course, we're just saying, options exist, if you ever wanted to downsize." "I'll keep that in mind." But I knew what downsize meant. It meant sell. It meant take the money. It meant move me into one of those nice facilities Luna had mentioned. That night I did something I'm not particularly proud of, but I was past the point of playing fair. I went to an electronics store and bought 2 small recording devices, the kind that look like USB drives or phone chargers. I placed one in the living room, tucked behind a picture frame, another in the kitchen on top of the refrigerator where no one would think to look. Then I called Aaron and Luna separately, told them both I'd been having trouble keeping track of my medications, asked if they could come by Sunday to help me organize them. They both agreed immediately. Sunday afternoon, they arrived within 10 minutes of each other. I sat them down in the living room, played confused, pulled out my pill bottles and spread them on the coffee table. "I don't know," I said, shaking my head. "I took something this morning, but I can't remember if it was the blood pressure or the cholesterol." Luna picked up the bottles, examining them. "Dad, these labels are pretty clear." I know. Sometimes I mix them up." Aaron watched me carefully. "Are you feeling okay? Mentally, I mean?" I let the question hang. "I'm fine, just tired." They exchanged another one of those looks. After about 30 minutes of organizing my medications, which were already perfectly organized, they left. I waited 10 minutes. Then I retrieved the recording device from the living room, plugged it into my laptop, and listened. Aaron, after I'd gone to the kitchen, "It's getting worse." Luna, "I know. Did you see how confused he was about the pills?" Aaron, "We need to move faster. Sylvester said the paperwork's ready." Luna, God, I hate this, but you're right. We can't wait much longer." Aaron, "Have you talked to Cynthia?" Luna, "No, and I'm not going to. You know how she'll react. She'll make this harder than it needs to be." Aaron, "She's going to find out eventually." Luna, "By then it'll be done. She lives 3 states away. She doesn't see him every week like we do. She doesn't get to have an opinion." Aaron, "Fair enough. When's Lewis meeting with Sylvester?" Luna, "Tomorrow. He's bringing the power of attorney forms. Once we have those signed, we can start the process of listing the house." Aaron, "Think he'll sign them?" Luna, "If we present it right, tell him it's just a safety measure, that it doesn't change anything." Aaron, "And if he doesn't?" Pause. Luna, "Sylvester said there are other options. If we can document cognitive decline, we can petition the court." Aaron, "That takes months." Luna, "I know, that's why we need him to sign." I sat back from the laptop, stared at the screen. My own children, planning to take control of my life, to sell my home, to put me somewhere I didn't want to be, all while telling themselves it was for my own good. I thought about confronting them, right then, calling them both and playing the recording, but something stopped me, because if I played my hand too soon, they'd just change tactics. No, I needed to let them think they were winning. I needed them to make their move, and then I would destroy it. The morning after I heard that recording, I made a phone call I should have made weeks ago. I called Cynthia. My youngest daughter lives in Phoenix with her husband and 2 teenagers. We talk every couple of weeks, video calls mostly, so she can show me what the kids are up to. She answered on the second ring. "Dad, this is a nice surprise. Everything okay?" "Cynthia, I need to tell you something, and I need you not to interrupt until I'm finished." Her voice shifted immediately. "What's wrong?" I told her everything. The missed calls, the conversations I'd overheard, the recording, Luna's lies about the electric bill, Aaron's concerns about the house, the lawyer named Sylvester drafting power of attorney documents. When I finished, there was silence on the other end. Then, "Those sons of bitches." "Cynthia." "No, Dad, I mean it. Luna and Aaron are trying to steal your house while you're still living in it. They think they're helping. They think they're cashing in." Her voice was shaking with anger. "And they didn't even tell me? Their own sister? They specifically said they weren't going to tell you. Because they know I'd stop them." She took a breath. "Okay, what do we do?" "I need help, real help, a lawyer who specializes in this kind of thing." "I know someone," Cynthia said immediately. "A colleague of mine. His name is Marcus Bright. He does elder law, estate planning, that kind of thing. He's sharp as hell and he doesn't mess around. Can you get me his number?" "I'll do better than that. I'll call him myself and explain the situation. When can you meet?" "As soon as possible." "I'll set it up. Dad?" "Yeah?" "We're going to fix this, I promise." 2 days later, I sat in Marcus Bright's office. He was younger than I expected, maybe mid-40s, wearing a sharp suit and rimless glasses. His office was clean, organized, filled with law books and framed certifications. He listened to my entire story without interrupting, took notes, asked clarifying questions. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. "Mr. Harrison, what your children are planning is technically legal if, and only if, you're actually incapacitated or unable to manage your affairs. But from everything you've told me, and from this conversation we're having right now, you're clearly of sound mind." That's what my audiologist said too. I handed him the envelope with Dr. Chen's report. He read it, nodded. "This is good. Very good. We'll need more, but this is a strong start. What else do we need?" "A cognitive assessment. I can refer you to a neuropsychologist who can conduct a full evaluation. Memory, reasoning, decision-making capacity. If you pass, which I'm confident you will, it becomes nearly impossible for them to claim you're incompetent." "And the recordings?" He paused. "This is where it gets tricky. Depending on the state, recording someone without their knowledge can be legally complicated. But in your case, this was in your own home, and you were part of the environment being discussed. I'd argue it's admissible as evidence of intent to defraud." "So we can use it?" "If we need to, yes, but I'd rather not show our hand until absolutely necessary. Right now, they don't know you know. That's your advantage." I liked him immediately. "So, what's our strategy?" Bright folded his hands on the desk. "We wait. We let them make their move. We document everything. Every lie, every attempt to manipulate you, every conversation they have. And when they present you with those power of attorney documents, we spring the trap." "What kind of trap?" He smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. "The kind that makes sure they never try this again." Over the next 2 weeks, I followed Bright's instructions to the letter. I went to the neuropsychologist he recommended, Dr. Patricia Reeves. Spent 4 hours doing tests. Memory recall, problem solving, pattern recognition, cognitive flexibility. When we finished, she shook my hand. "Mr. Harrison, I'd hire you to do my taxes. Your cognitive function is excellent." "So I'm not losing it?" "Not even close." She sent her full report to Bright within 3 days. Meanwhile, I continued playing my part at home. I turned the TV up louder than necessary. Asked people to repeat themselves occasionally. Not too often, just enough to maintain the illusion. Left a bill on the counter unopened for a few days until Luna helpfully reminded me about it. Every interaction was calculated, every mistake deliberate, and I recorded everything. Luna came by one afternoon with groceries. "Thought I'd stock your fridge, Dad. Make sure you're eating well." "That's sweet of you, honey." She unpacked the bags, organizing things in the fridge and pantry, but I noticed her eyes scanning the counters, the mail, the paperwork on my desk, looking for evidence of decline. "Dad, have you been taking your medications?" "Of course. It's just, I noticed the bottles looked full. I refilled them last week." She frowned. "Oh, okay." She was trying to catch me in confusion, in forgetfulness, but I wasn't giving her anything. After she left, I checked the groceries. She'd taken my checkbook from the drawer. I found it later in her car when I walked her out, and she'd left the door open while loading something. She'd photographed several checks, probably to show Sylvester as evidence of my handwriting, to compare against the signatures they'd need. I took the checkbook back when she wasn't looking, and I made a note in my legal pad. Evidence of intent to forge documents. That weekend, Cynthia flew in. She stayed at a hotel but came to the house Saturday morning. When Luna found out she was in town, she immediately invited herself over. "Cynthia, why didn't you tell me you were coming?" "It was last minute," Cynthia said coolly. "Wanted to surprise Dad." The three of us sat in the living room. The tension was thick enough to cut. Luna tried to make small talk, but Cynthia wasn't having it. "So, Luna, how's everything going with you and Louis?" "Fine, busy. You know how it is." "I'm sure." Cynthia sipped her coffee. "Dad mentioned you've been helping him with bills?" Luna's eyes flicked to me. "Yeah, just making sure everything's organized." "That's so thoughtful." Cynthia's voice was sweet. Too sweet. "Must take a lot of time." "It's not a problem. He's our father." "Of course." Cynthia smiled. "I just wish you'd told me he needed help. I would have flown out sooner." "You're so far away. We didn't want to burden you." "It's not a burden. It's family." The conversation went on like that for another 20 minutes, Luna becoming increasingly uncomfortable, Cynthia pressing gently but persistently. After Luna left, Cynthia turned to me. "She's going to make her move soon. I could see it in her face." "I know. You ready?" I thought about the recordings, the medical evaluations, the legal documents Bright had prepared. "Yeah," I said. "I'm ready." 3 days later, Luna called. "Dad, can Aaron and I come over tomorrow? We need to talk to you about something important." "What's it about?" "Just some family stuff, financial planning, that kind of thing." My pulse quickened. This was it. "Sure, sweetheart. What time?" "How about 2 o'clock? I'll be here." After we hung up, I called Bright. "They're making their move." "Good," he said. "Don't sign anything. Don't agree to anything. Just listen and stay calm. I'll be there." "You're coming." "Oh, I'm definitely coming. But they won't know until the exact right moment." Tuesday afternoon, 2 o'clock, right on schedule. Luna and Aaron arrived together. Aaron was wearing a button-down shirt, more formal than usual. Luna carried a leather folder. "Hey, Dad," Luna kissed my cheek. "Thanks for making time." "Of course." We settled in the living room, me in my recliner, them on the couch across from me. Aaron cleared his throat. "So, Pop, we wanted to talk to you about some planning stuff, making sure everything's in order for the future." "What kind of planning?" Luna opened the folder. "We've been talking to a lawyer, Louis's friend Sylvester, and he suggested some documents that might be helpful. You know, just in case." "In case of what?" "In case anything happens," Aaron said gently. "Health issues, emergencies, that kind of thing. This way, someone you trust can help make decisions if you're not able to." Luna pulled out a thick stack of papers. "It's called a durable power of attorney. Basically, it lets Aaron and me manage your finances and medical decisions if you need help." She slid the papers across the coffee table toward me. I picked them up, flipped through them slowly, pretending to struggle with the small print. This seems like a lot. It's just legal language, Luna said, but the important part is that it protects you, protects your assets, makes sure everything's handled properly. And Sylvester helped with this? He drafted everything, Aaron confirmed. No charge, as a favor. I set the papers down. Where's Cynthia? They both froze. What? Luna asked. Cynthia, your sister. Shouldn't she be part of this conversation? Aaron shifted in his seat. Cynthia lives in Arizona, Pop. This is something we need to handle now. We can fill her in later. Why not include her from the start? Luna's smile tightened. Dad, this isn't about excluding anyone. It's about being practical. Aaron and I are here. We see you every week. Cynthia's across the country. So you're saying she doesn't get a say? That's not what I... Luna stopped herself, took a breath. Dad, we're trying to help you. This is for your protection. My protection, I repeated slowly. Or yours. The room went silent. Aaron leaned forward. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm curious why you're in such a hurry to get me to sign something that gives you control of my house, my money, my medical decisions. Luna's face paled. Dad, we're not trying to control anything. We're trying to make sure you're safe. Safe from what? From making mistakes, Aaron said, and immediately looked like he regretted it. I let that hang in the air. What kind of mistakes? You know what I mean. Forgetting things. Missing appointments. The hearing issues. My hearing is fine. Luna blinked. Dad, I've been pretending, I said quietly. The batteries in my hearing aids work perfectly. I replaced them weeks ago. But I didn't tell you because I wanted to see what you'd do if you thought I couldn't hear you. The color drained from both their faces. You've been... Luna couldn't finish the sentence. I've been listening, I said, to every conversation you thought I couldn't hear, every plan you made, every lie you told. Aaron stood up. Pop, I don't know what you think you heard, but I know about Sylvester's advice on documenting my decline. I know you lied about the electric bill being late. I know you want to sell this house and split the money 3 ways. Not 4, because you weren't planning to tell Cynthia. I know about the nice facilities you've been researching. Luna's eyes filled with tears. Dad, please, you're misunderstanding. Am I? The doorbell rang. They both jumped. I didn't move. Are you expecting someone? Aaron asked. I am, actually. I stood up and walked to the front door. Marcus Bright stood on the porch, briefcase in hand. Behind him, Cynthia. Good afternoon, Mr. Harrison, Bright said loud enough for Luna and Aaron to hear. I believe we have a meeting scheduled. I stepped aside. Please, come in. The look on Luna and Aaron's faces when Bright walked into the living room was something I'll remember for the rest of my life. Confusion, panic, realization. Who is this? Aaron demanded. This is Marcus Bright, I said calmly. He's my attorney. You have an attorney? I do now. Cynthia followed Bright inside, her face a mask of cold fury. Hey, Luna. Hey, Aaron. Surprise. Luna stood up, papers still in hand. What is this? Bright set his briefcase on the coffee table and opened it with a crisp snap. This is the part where we discuss attempted financial exploitation of an elderly person. Financial exploitation? Aaron's voice rose. We're his children. And that, Bright said, pulling out a folder, is what makes it worse. He laid out documents one by one. Let's start with the medical evaluations. Mr. Harrison underwent comprehensive hearing tests with Dr. Chen 2 weeks ago. Perfect hearing for his age. No decline. He placed the report on the table. He also completed a full neuropsychological assessment with Dr. Patricia Reeves. Memory, cognitive function, decision-making capacity. He scored in the 95th percentile for his age group. Another report. Next, we have recordings of conversations you had in this house, Mr. Harrison's house, where you discussed plans to obtain power of attorney under false pretenses, sell his property without his consent, and place him in a facility against his will. Luna's voice was barely a whisper. You recorded us? In his own home, Bright said. Entirely legal. Aaron pointed at Cynthia. You put him up to this. No, Cynthia said coldly. You did this yourselves. I just helped him fight back. Bright continued, his voice level and professional. We also have evidence of intercepted mail, photographed financial documents without permission, and deliberate attempts to manufacture evidence of cognitive decline. He pulled out one more document. This is a formal letter to Sylvester Crane, the attorney who drafted these power of attorney documents. It outlines the ethical violations he committed by assisting in a scheme to defraud an elderly client who is demonstrably of sound mind. I'll be filing a complaint with the state bar this week. Luna sank back onto the couch. Dad, please, we weren't trying to hurt you. Then what were you trying to do? She opened her mouth, closed it, had no answer. Aaron ran his hand through his hair. This is insane. We're your family. Then act like it, I said. Bright gathered his documents. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave this house right now. You will not contact Mr. Harrison regarding financial matters, medical decisions, or his living situation without his explicit invitation. Any attempt to pursue power of attorney, guardianship, or any other legal control will be met with a formal complaint to the district attorney's office for attempted elder exploitation. You can't do this, Aaron said weakly. We already have, Cynthia said. Now get out. They left without another word. Luna dropped the power of attorney papers on the table. Aaron wouldn't look at me. When the door closed behind them, I sat back down in my recliner. The house was silent. Bright packed up his briefcase. You did well, Mr. Harrison. That took courage. Didn't feel like courage. Felt like survival. Cynthia sat next to me. Put her hand on mine. You okay? I don't know yet. They're going to be angry. I know. And hurt. I know that too. Bright handed me his card. If they contact you, I'll call you immediately. He nodded. Good luck, Mr. Harrison. After he left, Cynthia and I sat in silence for a long time. Finally, she said, What now? I looked around my living room. My house, the home Margaret and I bought 43 years ago, where we raised our children, where we built our life. Now, I said quietly, I figure out if there's anything left to save. The first week after the confrontation, nobody called. Not Luna, not Aaron, not even their spouses. The silence should have felt like peace. Instead, it felt like loss. I went through my days like I always had. Morning coffee, reading the paper, tending the small garden Margaret had planted years ago. But the house felt different now. Emptier, like something had been taken that I couldn't get back. Cynthia stayed for 3 days before flying back to Phoenix. Before she left, she stood in my doorway with her suitcase. You did the right thing, Dad. Then why doesn't it feel right? Because they're still your kids, and you still love them. She hugged me. But love doesn't mean letting people hurt you. After she left, I sat in my recliner and stared at the framed photos on the mantel. Luna at her college graduation, Aaron's wedding, family pictures from Christmases past, everyone smiling. I wondered if we'd ever take another one. On day 8, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Dad, Luna's voice, quiet, shaky. I'm here. Can we talk? Please, just let me explain. Every instinct told me to hang up, to protect myself, but I didn't. I'm listening. She took a shuddering breath. I know what we did was wrong. I know you have every right to hate us. But I need you to understand. We weren't trying to steal from you. We were scared. Scared of what? Of losing you." Her voice cracked. "After Mom died, you got so quiet, so withdrawn. You stopped going out, stopped seeing friends. We thought you were giving up. So you decided to take control of my life? We thought we were helping. Louis kept saying we needed to be proactive, that waiting until something bad happened was irresponsible, and Sylvester made it all sound so reasonable, like we were just being good children. You lied to me, Luna. You intercepted my mail. You tried to make me think I was losing my mind. I know." She was crying now. "I know, and I hate myself for it. Every day I wake up and I can't believe what we did to you." I closed my eyes. "Why didn't you just talk to me? Why didn't you ask me what I wanted?" "Because we thought we knew better. Because we thought you were too proud to admit you needed help. Because we're idiots who convinced ourselves we were doing the right thing." The silence stretched between us. "Dad, I'm not asking you to forgive me. I know that might not be possible. But can I see you? Face to face? Please?" I thought about it for a long time. "Not yet," I finally said. "I need more time." "Okay." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Okay, I understand." "Luna." "Yeah?" "Does Aaron feel the same way?" She hesitated. "Aaron's complicated. He's angry. At himself, at Cynthia, at the situation. He's not ready to admit he was wrong. Then he's not ready to talk to me." "I know." After we hung up, I sat there holding the phone. Part of me wanted to believe her, wanted to think that fear and misguided love had driven them to do something terrible. But another part of me knew intention doesn't erase harm. 2 weeks later, I got an email from Aaron. No phone call, no visit, just words on a screen. "Dad, I've been trying to write this for days. Every time I start, I delete it because nothing I say will make this better. Luna told me about your conversation. She said you need time. I get that. But I need you to know something. I messed up. Badly. I let Louis and that lawyer convince me that what we were doing was necessary, that we were protecting you. But the truth is, I was protecting myself. From grief. From watching you get older. From the reality that one day you won't be here. And instead of dealing with that like an adult, I tried to control it. Control you. Take away your choices so I wouldn't have to face my own fear. That was wrong. And I'm sorry. I don't know if you'll ever trust me again. I don't know if we can fix this. But I needed to say it. I love you, Dad." Aaron, I read it 3 times. Then I closed my laptop and didn't respond. Not because I didn't appreciate it, but because words are easy. Actions are what matter. A month after the confrontation, something unexpected happened. Bright called me. "Mr. Harrison, I wanted to give you an update. Sylvester Crane contacted my office yesterday. He's withdrawing from practice temporarily. Said he's seeking counseling for ethical lapses in judgment." "So he's facing consequences?" "He is. The state bar opened an investigation. He won't be disbarred, but his reputation is damaged. Louis may also face scrutiny, given his involvement." "Good. There's something else. Luna and Aaron have both signed formal affidavits acknowledging their actions and waiving any future claims to power of attorney or guardianship." I sat up straighter. "They did that voluntarily?" "Yes. Luna initiated it. Aaron signed 2 days later." "What does that mean?" "It means they can never try this again. It's legally binding, and it means they're taking responsibility." After the call, I sat in my study for a long time. They were trying. In their own messy, imperfect way, they were trying to make it right. The question was, would I let them? 6 weeks after everything fell apart, I got a letter in the mail, handwritten, from Bright, my 10-year-old granddaughter, Luna's daughter. "Dear Grandpa Walt, I don't understand everything that happened. Mom says you and her had a big fight and that she made a mistake. She cries a lot now. I miss you. I miss our Sunday breakfasts and the way you make funny voices when you read to me. Mom says you need space, and I'm supposed to respect that. But I wanted you to know that I love you. And I hope you can forgive her. Because she's really, really sorry. Love, Bright. I held that letter in my hands and felt something crack open in my chest. Bright didn't do anything wrong. She shouldn't lose her grandfather because her mother made terrible choices. I picked up the phone and called Luna. "Dad?" She sounded shocked. "I got Bright's letter." "Oh, God, I didn't tell her to write that. I swear." "I know you didn't." I took a breath. "Luna, I'm not ready to go back to the way things were. I don't know if we ever can. But I'm willing to try something. Anything. Please. I'll have coffee with you. 1 hour, public place. We talk, really talk, about what happened and what comes next." "Yes, absolutely. When?" "This Saturday, 10 a.m., the diner on Maple Street." "I'll be there." Saturday morning came. I arrived early, sat in a booth by the window, ordered coffee. Luna walked in at exactly 10 o'clock. She looked thinner, older, like she hadn't been sleeping. She slid into the seat across from me. "Hi, Dad." "Hi." We sat in awkward silence for a moment. Then she said, "I don't know where to start." "Start with the truth." "Okay." She folded her hands on the table. "The truth is, I was terrified of losing you the way we lost Mom. And instead of dealing with that fear, I tried to control it. Control you. And in doing that, I became exactly the kind of person I never thought I'd be. Why didn't you just ask me what I wanted? Because I was afraid you'd say you were fine when you weren't. Or that you'd push us away. Or that you'd—" She stopped, wiped her eyes. "I was afraid you'd die alone in this house and it would be my fault for not doing enough." I reached across the table, took her hand. "Luna, I'm not fine all the time. I miss your mother every single day. This house is too big and too quiet, and some nights I can't stand it. But that doesn't mean I'm incapable. It doesn't mean I need someone to take over my life." "I know that now." "Do you? Really?" She looked me in the eye. "Yes, I swear to God, yes." We talked for 2 hours. About boundaries, about communication, about how she and Aaron could be part of my life without trying to run it. It wasn't easy. There were tears, raised voices, moments where I almost left. But we stayed. And by the end, something had shifted. Not fixed, not healed, but possible. 3 months after that coffee meeting, I got an invitation. Hand-delivered by Luna. She stood on my porch, envelope in hand. "Bright's birthday party, next Saturday. Nothing big, just family and a few of her friends." I took the envelope, but didn't open it. "Is Aaron going to be there?" "Yes, and Wendy, and their kids." She paused. "And Cynthia said she's flying in." "You told Cynthia about the party?" "I called her last week, apologized. Really apologized. We talked for an hour." Luna smiled sadly. "She's still mad at me. But she said she'd come. For you and for Bright." I looked down at the invitation. "I don't know if I'm ready for this." "I understand. But Bright really wants you there. She asks about you every day." After Luna left, I opened the invitation. It was handmade. Construction paper with glitter and stickers. Bright's handwriting in purple marker. "Please come to my birthday party, Grandpa Walt. I'm turning 11 and it won't be the same without you." I put it on my refrigerator. And for the next week, I stared at it every morning. Saturday came. I stood in my bedroom dressed in slacks and a button-down shirt, looking at myself in the mirror. I could go, pretend everything was fine, smile for Bright's sake, or I could stay home, protect myself, avoid the awkwardness and the pain. I picked up my phone, almost called Luna to say I couldn't make it. Then I thought about Bright's letter, her handwriting, her words. I hope you can forgive her. I put the phone down, got in my car, and drove to Luna's apartment. The party was small. Balloons, a homemade cake, Bright's friends running around the living room playing games. When I walked in, the room went quiet. Bright saw me first. "Grandpa!" She ran across the room and crashed into me. "You came!" I hugged her tight. Of course I came. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Aaron stood by the kitchen holding a paper plate. We made eye contact. He nodded. I nodded back. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was acknowledgement. Luna came over, eyes wet. "Thank you for being here." "I'm here for Bright." "I know. That's enough." Cynthia arrived 20 minutes later. She hugged me, then gave Luna a look that said, "We're not okay, but we're trying." For the next 2 hours, I watched Bright open presents, blow out candles, laugh with her friends. And I realized something. This messy, imperfect, broken family was still mine. Luna and Aaron had hurt me, deeply, in ways I'd never fully get over, but they were trying, really trying, and maybe that was what forgiveness looked like. Not erasing the past, not pretending it didn't happen, just choosing to move forward anyway. At the end of the party, Bright pulled me aside. "Grandpa, are you still mad at Mommy?" I knelt down to her level. "I'm working on not being mad anymore." "Does that mean you'll come to Sunday breakfast again?" I looked over at Luna, who was watching us from across the room. "Yeah," I said. "I think it does." Bright grinned. "Good, I missed you." "I missed you too, sweetheart." That night I sat on my porch watching the sunset. Cynthia came out and sat next to me. "How are you feeling?" "Tired, but okay." "You know they're still going to mess up, right? Luna and Aaron. They're going to overstep or say the wrong thing or—" "I know. And you're okay with that?" I thought about it. "I'm okay with trying. That's all I've got right now." She squeezed my hand. "That's more than enough, Dad." A week later, Luna and Bright came over for Sunday breakfast. We made pancakes. Bright told me about school. Luna asked if I needed help with anything, then immediately caught herself. "Sorry, old habits." "It's okay. I do need help, actually." She looked surprised. "With what?" "The gutters. They're clogged. I could use a hand." "Really?" "Really, but I'm supervising." She smiled. "Deal." After breakfast, Aaron called. "Hey, Pop, Luna told me you're doing Sunday breakfasts again?" "Yeah." Think there's room for one more?" I looked at Bright, who was drawing at the kitchen table. At Luna, who was washing dishes with a lightness I hadn't seen in months. "Yeah," I said. "There's room." I'm 71 years old. My family thought I was going deaf, so they spoke freely around me. They made plans. Plans to control my life, sell my home, decide my future, but I heard every word, and I fought back. I got lawyers. I gathered evidence. I exposed their lies. I won. But winning didn't fix everything. It didn't erase the betrayal. It didn't undo the hurt. What it did do was give me a choice. The choice to set boundaries. The choice to demand respect. And eventually, the choice to try again. Because here's what I learned. Family isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest when you screw up. It's about trying, even when it's hard. It's about showing up. For birthdays, for breakfasts, for the messy, complicated, beautiful work of loving, imperfect people. Luna and Aaron hurt me, deeply, but they're trying to do better, and so am I. Some days are harder than others. Some days I remember what they said, what they planned, and the anger comes back. But then Bright asks me to read her a story. Or Luna brings coffee and really asks, how I'm doing. Or Aaron shows up to help with the gutters and doesn't try to take over. And I remember, I didn't fight to push them away forever. I fought to make sure they'd never take me for granted again. There's a difference, and that difference is everything. That's the whole story. My family thought I couldn't hear them, so they planned to take everything. But I heard every word, and I made sure they'd never underestimate me again. But revenge wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of something harder, deciding whether to rebuild. If this story meant something to you, if you felt the betrayal, the anger, the tiny spark of hope, Then do me a favor. Subscribe, because I'm not done telling stories. Stories about people who were overlooked, underestimated, pushed aside, and refused to stay silent. Stories about dignity, resilience, and the messy work of being human. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, smash that like, and tell me, would you have let them back in? Would you have gone to that birthday party? Or would you have walked away for good? Your answer matters. Your voice matters. Drop it in the comments. Thank you for listening to my story. I'll see you in the next one. Grandpa Walt, 71 years old, and still listening.